Deep in the Canadian wilderness, hidden under layers of soil and centuries of silence, a stone was found. Not just any stone, but one carved with over 250 ancient runes and a mysterious message. Who put it there? When? And why? Today we're diving into one of Canada's most baffling archaeological discoveries, the ruins of Wawa, Ontario. It all started about 7 years ago when a tree unexpectedly fell near the small town of Wawa, not far from Lake Superior. Beneath the roots, a massive slab of bedrock was uncovered. Etched into it, 255 ancient symbols, 14 mysterious X's, and a detailed image of a boat carrying 16 people. Photos of the site eventually made their way to Ryan Primrose, president of the Ontario Centre for Archaeological Education. He was stunned. It's certainly among the least expected finds of my career. It's absolutely fascinating, he told CBC. But before jumping to conclusions about Vikings or ancient explorers, Primrose called in the big guns, Professor Henrik Williams, a world-renowned runologist from Sweden. Williams traveled to the site, endured freezing weather under a tarp with just a flashlight, and carefully decoded the symbols. His findings? The runes formed the Lord's Prayer, written in Swedish using the Futhark runic alphabet, an ancient system once used by early Germanic peoples. Now, here's the twist. While Futhark runes date back to as early as the 2nd century CE, this specific prayer was first printed in runes in 1611 by a Swedish occultist named Johannes Boreas. Even more interesting, that same version was republished in the 1800s. So, what's the most likely explanation? According to Primrose, the carvings were likely made in the early to mid-1800s, possibly by a Swedish worker hired by the Hudson's Bay Company, which operated trading posts in the region. And yes, historical records do show Swedes were stationed near Michipicoten, not far from the discovery site. Even if it's not from the Viking Age, it's still remarkable. Someone, likely a lonely or devout Swedish laborer, spent days, maybe even weeks, hand-etching this prayer into solid rock deep in the wilderness. Was it a private act of faith? A secret place of worship? And why bury it under inches of soil? So far, no other artifacts have been found nearby, adding even more mystery to the story. Now, Primrose and the landowners are working on plans to preserve the site and possibly open it to the public as a heritage attraction. A protective structure may soon shield the carving from weather and erosion. The mystery doesn't fade just because it's younger than we hoped, said Primrose. Why was it carved here? Why this text? There are no answers, and mysteries always draw people in. So no. These aren't Viking runes from 1,000 years ago, but they are a captivating glimpse into a forgotten moment in Canadian history, etched in stone by a hand we'll never know. What would drive someone to carve a full prayer into a remote rock alone in the wild? That's a question that may never be answered, but one thing's for sure. The Canadian wilderness just got a lot more mysterious. If you loved this story, give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more real-life mysteries, and tell us in the comments what you think the runes mean.